Hey everyone, back with me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel and the Catechism for Kids. Today, we're going to uncover the amazing story behind one of the most powerful prayers you can learn, the prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel. It's a story filled with visions, popes, and a heavenly warrior who helps us fight our battles. Ready to dive in? First things first, who is Saint Michael? In the Bible, especially in the book of Revelation, Michael is described as an archangel, which is like a super important angel. He's the leader of all the angels in the army of God. His name itself, Michael, is a question. Who is like God? It's a powerful statement reminding us that no one is greater than God. In pictures and statues, you'll almost always see him as a mighty warrior holding a sword, with his foot on the head of a dragon or serpent. This dragon represents Satan or evil, and Saint Michael is shown as the ultimate victor over darkness. Because of his bravery and strength, he's the patron saint of soldiers, police officers, and anyone who fights for what is right. So where did this special prayer come from? Our story begins over 130 years ago, on October 13th, 1884, with a man named Pope Leo XIII. The Pope is the leader of the Catholic Church, and on this day, something extraordinary happened. After he had just finished celebrating Mass in his private chapel, he suddenly stopped. He stood completely still, his face turned pale, and he seemed to be looking at something no one else could see. His attendants were worried, but he just stood there, as if in a trance, for about 10 minutes. When he finally moved, he went straight to his office. He was deeply shaken by what he had just experienced. What was it? According to the accounts from that time, Pope Leo had a mystical vision. He heard two voices near the altar. One voice was gentle and kind, which he knew was Jesus. The other voice was harsh and full of pride, the voice of Satan. He heard Satan boast to Jesus that he could destroy the church. Satan claimed that if he were given more power and a little more time, about 75 to 100 years, he could bring the whole thing down. It's a scary thought, right? But then, the Pope heard Jesus' reply. In a moment that reminds us of the story of Job in the Old Testament, Jesus gave Satan permission to try. He allowed him the time and the power he asked for. Why? To test the faith of his people, and to show that in the end, his church would stand strong. Imagine how the Pope must have felt, hearing this terrifying conversation. He knew he had to do something. The church needed a spiritual shield to prepare for the difficult century ahead. So right then and there, he sat down and composed a prayer. It was a prayer calling on the one angel powerful enough to face Satan directly, Saint Michael the Archangel. He immediately instructed that this new prayer should be prayed all over the world. Now, let's learn the prayer together. It's not very long, but every word is packed with meaning. It goes like this: Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan, and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Let's break that down. Defend us in battle. This isn't just about physical battles with swords and shields. It's about our daily spiritual battles, the struggle between choosing to do good and being tempted to do what's wrong. It's about fighting against selfishness, anger, or dishonesty. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. A snare is a trap. So we're asking Saint Michael to be like a bodyguard, protecting us from the clever traps that evil sets to make us stumble and fall. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. Here we show our humility. We know that we can't defeat evil on our own. We're asking God, the ultimate authority, to step in and command evil to stop. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan. This is the powerful climax of the prayer. We're directly asking Saint Michael, the leader, or Prince of the Angels, to use God's power to cast evil out of our lives and back to where it belongs, so it can't harm anyone. Finally, who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. This reminds us why we need protection. Evil isn't just a fairy tale concept. It actively seeks to lead us away from God and from being the best versions of ourselves. The prayer is our way of saying, not today. After Pope Leo wrote the prayer, he made it part of something called the Leonine prayers, which were a set of prayers said after every low Mass, which was a simple, spoken form of the Mass. For almost 80 years, from 1886 until 1964, Catholics all over the world would end Mass by praying together for Saint Michael's protection. Then, in the 1960s, the Church made some changes, and saying these prayers after Mass was no longer required. For a while, the prayer wasn't heard as often in churches, but it was never forgotten. Many people continued to pray it in their homes. Then, 30 years later, in 1994, another beloved pope, Pope St. John Paul II, brought it back into the spotlight, gave a famous speech where he reminded everyone about the prayer to Saint Michael, said, and I'm quoting him here, "Although this prayer is no longer recited at the end of Mass, I ask everyone not to forget it and to recite it to obtain help in the battle against the forces of darkness." He knew that the spiritual battle Pope Leo saw was still going on, and we still needed our heavenly defender. More recently, Pope Francis has also encouraged everyone to pray this prayer, especially when the Church is facing difficult times. It's like they're handing us a spiritual tool and saying, "Here, use this, it works." It's also interesting to know that Pope Leo XIII actually wrote a much longer version of this prayer. It's a formal prayer of exorcism, meant to be used by priests with special permission to directly confront evil forces. The short prayer we all know and love is like a powerful piece of that longer, more intense prayer, made accessible for all of us to use every day. In current religious discourse, many note that Pope Leo XIV was elected on May 8, 2025, which is the feast of the apparition of Saint Michael at Mount Gargano. This is seen by many as a symbolic sign of renewed spiritual vigilance for 2026 and beyond. So, when should you pray the prayer to Saint Michael? Anytime, really? You can pray it in the morning to start your day with protection. You can pray it at night before you go to sleep. You can pray it when you feel scared or tempted, or when you just need a little extra courage to do the right thing. It's a short, simple, and incredibly powerful way to call on our guardian in heaven. The story of the Saint Michael prayer is a beautiful reminder that we are never alone in our struggles. God has given us powerful friends in heaven, and Saint Michael the Archangel is one of the mightiest. He's always ready, sword in hand, to defend us in battle. Thanks so much for watching today and learning about this incredible prayer with me. I hope you'll make it a part of your own life. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories of our faith, and share this with someone who might need a little heavenly protection. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and God bless you always.